I remember this moment very clearly. It was a seventh grade girl, and we were in a group, and we were talking about regrets, which you wouldn't think that middle school girls would have a lot of time for regrets at this point. But I remember so clearly what she said. I wish I would have started sports when I was younger, because now I'm out of luck. It's too late for me. Can you imagine feeling as a seventh grade girl that it's too late to start something as a seventh grade girl? It was flabbergasting to me, but at the same time, I could totally relate to where she was coming from. How often do all of us feel like we're too scared to risk starting something new? I think it's something that is particularly difficult in those teen and tween years, because there is the brain chemistry that is telling you, everyone is looking at me, everyone is looking at me. And they're really not, but you don't know that because your brain is developing in a way that is telling you that that is what is happening. So I wanted to tell you today about how I coach girls through the process of putting themselves out there and starting something new, trying something new, taking a risk to do something they haven't done before. First, we talk about, obviously, the types of feelings that they're having. What kind of feelings this is bringing up? Is it excitement? Is it curiosity? Is it just plain old fear? What are those things that are coming up for them? So that we make sure, and I can make sure as their coach, that we're on the same page, that I'm not trying to coach them through something that they really just don't want at all. I want it to be something that they want, but that they're able to evaluate, here are the reasons why I'm not going after that, or why I'm afraid to go after that. So we're on the same page. The next question I ask them, what's the worst thing that could happen? Realistically, absolutely, in this situation, what is the absolute worst thing that could happen? For example, if they're talking about auditioning for a play for the first time ever, they're talking about getting up on stage, they're going to sing or talk or have to memorize lines, that type of thing. What is the absolute worst thing that could happen? Well, I could freeze, or I could do really horribly, or I might even faint or forget and not even be able to perform in that moment. I could freeze. Okay, so those are the absolute worst things that could happen. So if any of those things happened, if one of those came true, could you live with it? Would you survive? Would you continue to move forward in life despite the setback? And they always say, absolutely, yes, I would still be alive. You know, they almost kind of roll their eyes at me at that point. And I'm like, that's the point. Now, we've looked at the worst case scenario. We've figured out that even in the worst case scenario, you will still be alive and be able to move forward. What is the likelihood that that worst case scenario is going to happen? 100%? Definitely that's going to happen? 0%? 50%? Really, let's think through, what are the chances that are going to happen? And this elicits an excellent conversation, because there's usually lots of caveats, but it gets the girls thinking about, what's the chances of the worst case? Usually it's pretty slim. What's the chances of the best case? Like, you go out for the show and you get the leading part and everybody thinks you're amazing. Also maybe really slim if this is the first time you're trying something like this. So it's somewhere in between. And that's when we really get to pick apart, what are the actual things that we're afraid of? We're maybe not actually afraid of taking the risk and doing the thing. We're afraid of the fallout afterwards. So when we get a part that we don't like as much, or when we don't get a part at all, and maybe the embarrassment that comes with that. Who is it that we are afraid will be looking at us? What is it we think that they will be thinking? And when it comes down to it, that's what we start to realize, is that what we're really afraid of is not doing the thing. We're often afraid of what happens afterwards and what people say about us or what people think about us. That's when we get to have the conversation about, people aren't actually looking at you or thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. And if they are, gosh, that's sad for them because they don't have enough of a life and things that they're passionate about and they're excited about and that they want to do in the world, that they have to waste time thinking about what you did or didn't do and how good you were or weren't at the thing that you did or didn't do. Man, because we get to talk about and leave the conversation in this world of possibility. Here are all the things that are going to be available to you in your life that you can't even imagine at the age of 12. You are 12, 13, 14, even if you're 17 or 18, there's so much that's going to be available to you. And so we leave it in that sense of possibility. And what could you learn in this situation? Success or failure? What might you be able to learn about yourself, about the world, about what you really care about who you can become when you take a risk? They make their decision. They take the risk and they're better for it. I love what I get to do. I love encouraging them to break out of their box, be their best self, be their cheerleader. And if they don't get the exact thing that they were shooting for, I get to be there to help walk them through that and learn those lessons and make sure that they're ready to try again. I hope that you are able to implement these tools. I hope that you are able to take a risk next time when it's something you care about, when it's something that's important, that you can see it's so much better to have gone for it than to always wonder. Keep choosing your thoughts. Go create a life that you love. And remember,